Welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. So Tyler Denny, Springs, I suppose you'd call it, would you call it an upset? He retained his EBU middleweight title with a 5-round technical decision over Felix Cash. Now, Cash, if you think back a few years, he was being sort of much fancied as the one of Matchroom stars, you know, possibly a future 160-pound world champion. But it just hasn't worked out for him. He's been out of the ring for a long, long time. His last fight was in December of 2022. So, what are we talking, 18 months or something? I mean, and he looked rusty. He did look rusty. He looked bigger than Tyler Denny. And Denny definitely came, you know, hyped up. He was out for this fight, no doubt about it. Denny's come up the hard way. No one's given him anything. He's only got one knockout on his whole 19 wins now ledger. He's got two defeats, and I think he's got 3 draws, I think it is. But the defeats, he lost to Linus Adofia back in 2019. That was a majority decision. And prior to that, Reece Cartwright stopped him in 8. That was the year before, 2018. So he's unbeaten since 2019. And, you know, at 5'10", 32 years of age, this is a defence of the EBU title. Because he actually, I think, won it against Macaulay McGowan. Then he defended it against an Italian, Signani, I think his name was. Was he Italian or Spanish? I think it was Italian. He's also been the English middleweight champ, but no one's ever given him anything. He's had to, you know, very often do it on the road, be the outsider, the away fighter. And you can't really begrudge him this win. I mean, he deserved it. The fight was stopped because of a really bad slice across Felix Cash's right eyelid. And they were saying it was from a head clash. Now, look, I do these videos like literally a few minutes after I've watched the fight. And I have to say I didn't see a headbutt. I thought it was a punch. On DAZN, they showed the replay and they showed... let me think now. It was, well, Denny is a southpaw, so it would have been a left hook that landed on Cash's eye, and I didn't see the blood pouring out, but I didn't see any head clashes either. But anyway, there was a bit of confusion when it was concluded, but it did go to the scorecards. It was a unanimous decision, I think deservedly so. Cash, okay, he'll think, well, this was a 12-round fight. I was just getting warmed up. I was shaking off some rust. Difficult fight to come back to after 18 months out of the ring. It was a difficult fight because Denny, like I say, he's having a purple patch in his career, Indian summer you could call it, I suppose. And he was always going to be a hard man to beat. But Cash came in as the favourite, 16 wins, no draws, no defeats. He's now got a defeat on his record. And Eddie Hearn did not sound optimistic after the fight. He was asked about Felix Cash. And he said, well, he didn't look like he really wanted to be in there. And he hasn't been living the life. And you were thinking, oh, God, Eddie's not happy. He's not going to be back in the 31-year-old Felix for much longer. Felix has fallen from grace. I mean, you think he stopped Denzel Bentley in 3 rounds for the British and Commonwealth belt back in 2021. And then he kind of went stagnant. A couple of fights in 2022, and that was it. And Eddie also said this is a young man's sport. At 31, Cash might find it difficult to come back, but it's up to him. It's up to him. I mean, he looks big for the weight. He's 6'1". He's quite broad. He looked a good half stone in natural weight. Heavier than Denny, bigger than Denny in natural weight. But Denny was the one who was out-muscling Cash. Cash was allowing himself to be pushed back. It weren't a good performance by Cash, to be honest. There was a lot. You can blame it on the rust, I suppose, but maybe a 10-rounder as a warm-up would have been an idea. I don't know. Or maybe Hearn was just thinking, I'll roll the dice with Cash, and if he loses, I've got an excuse to get rid of him. Eddie always says, winner stays on. He won't be signing Tyler Denny, though, because Tyler Denny is signed to boxer. And actually, Ben Shalom was in the ring afterwards with Eddie Hearn. When you consider the scorn that Hearn and Frank Smith have poured on Shalom's name because of all those, pullouts regarding purse bids, he thought, is this going to be a case of Shalom looking to rub Hearn's nose in it? Not really. I don't suppose he needed to, did he? He said, oh, thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Frank Smith. Thanks for, this was great. He was very, very magnanimous. But then I suppose if you win like that, you can afford to be, can't you? But well done to Tyler Denny. This is, I think, his second, it's his second EBU title defence. He'd be a good voluntary at world level for one of the champs. And let's not forget the middleweight, at world level, the middleweight canon isn't looking particularly deep. I wouldn't say any of the champs are real killers. What price Tyler Denny winning a world title? I wonder. Yeah. And you see, this is it. He actually mentioned Chris Eubank Jr. was a possible opponent because he said, well, they were talking about putting Cash in with Eubank and so on. So, well, I'll do it. I hope he makes some money, and I hope he gets a world title shot as well, because I think he's earned his belts the hard way. For Felix Cash, you got to decide, do you want to be a boxer or not? If so, put in the work, come back maybe at a much lower level, and then build up again. Can be done. It can be done. We've seen what happened with Maxie Hughes, Lee Wood, and it's never over till you want it to be over. And at 31, it's not that old. It's not young, but it's not that old to be a fighter. But you've really got to want to do this game, because if you're 99% wanting to do it, that's not enough. You need 100%, 100% effort, 100% discipline. Live the life outside the ring, and believe in yourself. Do what your trainer says, and so on and so forth. Anyway, what did you think of this fight? Comments below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you can do that, it takes a second, costs you nothing, helps the channel out. And please, if you like the video, hit the like button as well. Not a bad night's boxing. Freebie on DAZN, wasn't it? So yeah, let me know what you think. Comments below. I'll give them a read and answer. And until next time, bye for now.